Thunderdome.
Thunderdome, yes. Give yourselves a round of applause for being the last team standing. Keep that round of applause going for our guest today in the sketch duel. We have JonBoy Meyers and his victim, Michael Choi. How many have not been to a sketch duel before? Is there anybody in here that hasn't been to a sketch duel? Excellent. The way the sketch duels work is we take a suggestion from the audience for a character. I know, JonBoy, I think one time you were on one where we did medieval Hellboy.
We did. That was fun. Yeah.
So we'll take a character. For instance, that example was Hellboy. The guys will agree that they want to both draw that character, and then we'll add a modifier. So, like I said, medieval Hellboy. Medieval was a modifier. The weirdest one we've seen this weekend was Nursing School Nightcrawler, which was not forced on the artist. The artist chose Nursing School Nightcrawler. And at the end of the thing, we give away the art. So, does everybody have a ticket that came into the room today? Everybody get a little red ticket? Cool. That'll make you eligible for a drawing. At the end of all this, while they're up here drawing, we have a conversation about process and their careers and their interests and that sort of thing. You guys are welcome to ask questions. You can either stand up to the mic, or if you raise your hand, I can call you out. So far, the acoustics in here have been pretty good. I've heard everybody that's shouted out from the audience. So, all right, everybody got the rules of engagement. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. I want to hear a resounding yes.
Yes.
Yes. All right. Excellent. Then let's get started. Let's hear some suggestions for characters from you guys.
Daredevil.
Daredevil?
Darkwing Duck.
A Darkwing Duck, you were here yesterday.
He's still pushing Darkwing Duck.
He's still pushing Darkwing Duck.
He wants to win a Darkwing Duck. I'm sensing the thing.
Ghost Rider. Again. So there's a Ghost Rider.
Cyclops.
Tossed out again. Cyclops? Like the X-Men character, right? Not just the Greek mythology.
Hey, either if they want to draw.
Phoenix. Phoenix is a nice one. Phoenix is an interesting one because I've never seen somebody draw Phoenix up here, so that's kind of cool. Phoenix also works as like a modifier too, because you can do a Phoenix version of other characters. So that's a nice one that straddles both. Have you guys heard a character yet that strikes you? You want me to keep digging?
What is it? Mythological Cyclops.
Mythological Cyclops might be cool, or Ghost Rider. Ghost Rider. Darkwing Duck might be.
I'd have to look it up.
Yeah, I'd have to like cheat. I have to like use it. I feel like it's cheating though. It's like.
I mean, honestly, I think the Ghost Rider thing is kind of cool to me.
That may be kind of cool. Like Ghost Rider doing what though? Like,
yeah.
Roller disco.
Not sure. That was roller disco again.
Doing the dishes.
Ghost Rider with the Phoenix Force.
Chef Ghost Rider. We have Phoenix Force Ghost Rider. What was that? Cowboy Ghost Rider. He lends himself very well because there is a Marvel character that's a Ghost Rider that's a cowboy.
But he's not
that one yet.
Yeah,
but you could do a skeleton.
He does a duck limit and then drug him and do all kinds of stuff. That was a weird. That
Somebody
was a weird
read
run.
West Coast Avengers back.
That's right. That was a weird run. If you read that, you're like, wow, kind of weird.
Yeah. And doesn't she get like Stockholm syndrome, sort of like she's in love
No,
with
he
him?
drugs her because he's in love with her, and then he's like, okay, she's gonna fall for me because we're the last, and she does.
Yeah.
And then she sees Hawkeye, and then she comes to her senses, like, oh my God, how dare you?
Yeah.
It's like I did it because I love you. You're like, that's not love.
Anybody familiar with that Ghost Rider character? It's like where it's all white. It's like all white.
Cool costume. Just
Yeah.
like they turned him into total stock.
Yeah. Imagine if Moon Knight looked like a cowboy. It's like a Ghost Rider before there was the Flaming Skull Ghost Rider.
That run would not go over well today, but you know.
Yeah.
It was the 80s. No one cared.
So let's hear some more modifiers from you guys. Pokemon Trainer. Flamenco Dancer. You mentioned Greek myth. Like, do you think there's a way to like work Ghost Rider into something Greek mythological, or a Cyclops version of Ghost Rider? Like, I mean, is there some way?
Man, it's Sunday, dude. My brain's.
All right, we'll keep going.
Yeah, I'm just like draw.
What's that?
Lantern Corps, the Green Lantern.
Green Lantern Corps Ghost Rider. Mix the companies together.
Ghost Rider's stuck at home during lockdown. Bored at home.
We do have 45 minutes. I'm just putting that out there.
Yeah.
We gotta, okay. Yeah.
Ghost Rider after Han.
Disney princess.
Or I can do artist choice.
I don't know,
We
man.
can pick Ghost Rider as a character and then artist choice, however you want to modify.
We can do that.
Okay.
You want to do that? Do artist choice on the modification?
Yeah.
Alright.
I am gonna do Pokemon trainer.
Pokemon trainer.
I
All right.
do think that would be fun. I don't know how to Ghost Rider into that. But like Ghost Rider Pikachu? Maybe?
I don't know.
Yeah. That might be playing school.
Alright, I'm trying to get into the. I don't really do a lot of panels, but I got two basic guidelines, which is how young the youngest person in the crowd is.
Oh, that's true. You gotta censor yourself.
Six.
Yeah.
So six. I have a 6-year-old.
Yeah, your mom's right. Yeah.
He's great. He right before I left, he goes, "Daddy, come here." And I go real close. And he goes, "Fuck you, Daddy." I think the rules are slightly different here. And the other thing is, the less people there are, the more honest I am with my answers.
You really said that?
Yeah, he did. He actually said that. Which I
I
was
was
proud
proud
of.
to for shoot hit me in the face.
No, they're like I don't. See, we're basically like, say it if you mean it, and don't direct it to another person.
It's your intent, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
He's doing it to be funny. I guess that's.
Yeah, but he does understand.
Yeah,
yourself,
it's
which I
interesting.
think grammatically is kind of advanced. And the
You see,
smaller
use it,
the
right?
crowd is, more honest I am with my answers. I see like what 8 people here. Yeah, we good.
All right.
Cool. Yeah, so Ghost Rider, and then you're gonna do Pokemon Trainer, and JonBoy, are you gonna do something Pokemon related?
I don't know, man.
All right.
Just gonna start with this flaming skull, and we're gonna see what happens.
Go where the muse takes you.
Yeah. I think that's the thing about artists sometimes, like, we do that every day. Everyone always tells us what to do all the time. Like your editor, no, you change your hair, you do that. And it's like, really, dude? So sometimes when you get any requests, you're always like, well, if you want to make people happy with the stand, it's like, man, I got like freaking, can't get away from your head bosses. You know what I mean? It's like, man.
Does JonBoy have one of these?
He
What?
does, but I think he moved everything out of view.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
Am I supposed to? I'm sorry.
There we go.
So I'm supposed
So
to.
we can keep an eye on his.
Oh,
his
we're
high
really
progression.
good. Oh.
Okay, I'm doing sketch. So I want to look at what you're doing.
There are no secrets. There are no secrets, but
You like sketch lines?
yeah, I do stuff. I do like planes and I do all that stuff. Cause like sometimes like you ever do this when you're like drawing, you're rushing through it, and then you look at it again, and like one eyeball's higher than the other, like oh dude.
Yeah.
And people are like, hey, what's up with your eyeball man? What happened? You're like, oh man, I was like, oh, you know, so.
I just go with the ballpoint pen.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
man.
bring up something interesting that people need to hear sometimes, which is that even though you reach this like professional level, you still make mistakes, right?
Well, I think in the art thing is like, technically there are no mistakes when making art because it's just art, and you don't like it, you can erase it when you start over. I think as artists, we always have a certain vision in our mind of what we want and what our expectation is, you know, because we always want to kind of bring it and we want to do a good job, you know, quote unquote, you know, in our minds, you know, especially if you're on stage and people are watching you and you're next to like an artist you respect and you're like, oh man, can't suck, don't suck, suck, not right now. So, like, I don't know if you guys ever have that in your job where it's like imposter syndrome where like one day you're just unstoppable, you know, like you're drawing and everything, like for us, when I'm on a tear like that, it's like a heater when you're gambling, like you just don't want to stop, you're like, I'm scared to go to bed. So like, oh, can I keep this up? Can I like, oh dude, let me see how many more sketch covers I can knock out right now. And a cover, do this, that's really cool. And the next day, you wake up and you're like ready to hit it again, like, okay, let's do it. And sometimes you might be struggling with an eyeball. It's like, oh damn. Like, oh well, that's alright.
I think we have totally different approaches.
Yeah.
I haven't started my sketch yet. Because I'm basically like, I don't feel like it. So I'm gonna wait until the inspiration kicks.
Yeah, I think so. It's always different. Like for me, it's always about like, what are my bills this week and what needs to get paid, and if I have to do this, like I go.
You're responsible.
Well, you got kids, man. You have to. You can't make mama mad.
You have kids?
No, I wanted to, but we live in Northern California, man. Like,
Oh,
kids
yeah,
are
yeah.
expensive.
You still live in Austin?
I live in San Antonio.
Oh, San Antonio?
Are you going to Art Gallery?
Can you move the camera just
Not yet. Yeah, I can't see your thing. That's
Thank you.
Oh,
Now you can't see your thing.
I can't. I got
Oh, shit.
No, no, it's okay. It's
I
alright.
think
It's
you
alright.
can raise it.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, see?
Ta-da!
See, I didn't even want to
I
mess
was
with
just
it.
like looking at this.
But isn't it better to do the reveal? Like, hey, we got this, like, you know.
Look at this.
6-year-olds need to be entertained.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, I just said that.
It's like,
Sorry.
thanks, YouTube.
I'm so sorry for cursing. In advance.
Yeah, I'm sure they've heard worse.
Yeah, these are like PG-13.
It's fine.
Just to let people know.
At least Simon Bisley's not here.
Yeah.
So
Oh, this is great, man. You know what? You got to get him to tell stories. Like he's got stories. If you can like get him to tell a story, because like the parties in the 80s and 90s were different from how they are now. It's like everyone's super sensitive about everything, right? I get it. No one wants to feel into hurt. Well, yeah, back then I was like, your feelings are hurt. You know, we're all just having fun. It's not good. You know, it's like, yeah, it's the weekend. But you know, some of the things and pranks used to go on back in the day.
I feel like there were more studios and more work together back then as well, like even Marvel's bullpen. But outside of that, people sort of like getting a studio together.
Well,
Do either of you guys have experience like in studios?
I in games, yes,
Yeah.
but not like comic studio per se. Like that's more your wheelhouse, man.
Yeah, I did studios. I started off at Top Cow.
Okay, so if you guys don't know what Top Cow is, just like it was the premier comic studio to be part of. It was that or Wildstorm. It was like I think that Top Cow was the other. It was more. We all thought it was there. So what was life like? What was life like in the studio?
What's that?
Was it pretty cool? Was
Yeah,
it
it was
everything you
great.
thought it was?
Yeah, it was great. I was just talking about this, like, so how many people here, like, are comic book fans? Like, just fans of reading comic books? How many of you guys have aspirations to work in comic books as well? Yeah. Okay. Like art, writing, writing?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was like, wait, you both wrote. Yeah. So,
Okay.
writing, present.
Yeah, like so I graduated. Y'all from Texas here? So I'm from Texas. I live in San Antonio. I went to UT, and then I worked at IBM for 3 years, and then I realized that I liked it, but I didn't love it as much as I love comic books. So I just wanted a job in comic books. I didn't care what, and I contacted the people at Top Cow, and at the time they were doing stuff like Witchblade and Cyberforce. It's Mark Silvestri's company. And they had me come in as an intern, and I was just going to do marketing because that was my minor in college. And you know, while I was there, I just like packed up all my stuff in the car and just moved over there, and in LA. And while I was in there, they had an in-house studio with all the artists working and stuff, and playing video games and working and playing video games. So I just decided to kind of like get in on that and just like look in, and eventually like. They let me have a desk, and I just sat down and, you know, tried drawing. It was garbage. There was a vote. Did you know about this? There was a vote like a few months in, and they were like, "Who the fuck is this guy?" I'm so sorry. Who the fuck is this guy? Like, you know, in here.
They're
like,
trying to
just
vote you
taking
off the
stuff.
island,
Yeah,
or, like,
they
we
tried to
wanna
vote
keep
me off
him?
the island. Everyone voted me off except for Mark.
That's
Yeah.
messed up.
That's crazy.
You know, I don't think.
But
it
Eric,
depends on
like,
also
Eric was like, no, because you were garbage. You know, it's like, oh, okay.
But that's the thing. It's like you gotta.
But yeah, but then eventually, like, you know, the thing about drawing is that if that's all you do, if that's literally all you do from when you wake up to when you go to sleep, it took me 2 years to get my job on Witchblade. So I was the ongoing artist on Witchblade in less than 2 years, just by doing that.
But how many hours you put into that?
Yeah, like
drawing.
wake up,
20
and
hours
you
a day,
spend
every
the
day.
night. You spend the night in the you know, at the studio. And when I was doing backgrounds for Mark on his X-Men run, like literally, I would just be sleeping there waiting for pages for him to bring him in, and he'd be like sleeping on his couch while I was doing the background, and we'd go back and forth. And it was like such a surreal, but like you can't help but learn, just like, you know, being a part of this, like learning through osmosis, just watching people do what they do, and
There's all that intense pressure too.
yeah,
To succeed. and
for
be
sure, yeah.
awesome.
And then I was on Witchblade for a while, and then you know,
X23.
well, the editor Renee asked me, hey, you've been on Witchblade for like a few issues. You and Ron have created this new run. Do you want to keep going with that, or do you want to do some stuff for Marvel? Because they're asking about, you know, getting some of you guys to do some Marvel books. And I was like, well, what's the Marvel book? And she was like, well, you know Wolverine, right? I was yeah, I know Wolverine.
Oh,
She's
good.
like, yeah, it's Wolverine. But it's like a girl version. And she's young and she's got two claws.
Did you get a co-creator credit for that?
No.
Yeah, that sucks.
Because she'd been around. She was on NYX first.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, that sounds amazing. I'd like to stay on Witchblade, please. And I didn't find out that I was on X23 until I saw it on Newsarama.
Oh, they just put you on it
They just
anyway.
put me on it anyway.
Like, no, you're on it
That's the
anyway.
best decision I'd never made, and that's how I.
That's cool. That's what you're known for, though. Really,
Yeah,
like
I guess
for
so.
the longest.
I should start drawing.
Dude, I brought a pen last time, and I was sitting next to
My
Clayton
pen doesn't
Crane,
work.
and then Clayton brought like all this paint and stuff, and I'm just like, oh man, freaking pen.
Yeah, it's Clayton Crane. We've got a schedule with Clayton Crane in here at 3:15, 3:30. Hold on, 3:30 is Jay Lee for Clayton Crane in here. And if you haven't seen Clayton Crane at a schedule, he does a full painting. It's kind of
It's cool,
Yeah.
but it's like, oh man, like
yeah, it's
kind of ruining it for the rest of us.
and really probably ruining it for himself if he can do one that quickly. Like you don't want to let your bosses know that you can do
That is
full
true.
painting in like 40 minutes.
That's true. They're like, I know you can do it. Don't lie to me.
Yeah.
I've seen you do it. I heard you.
Do you prefer that studio setting, or do you like being able to, is there something to be found in the solitude as well?
I did like the studio setting. Y'all know who Mark Sylvester is?
Yeah.
Like I still know how he takes his coffee, because I was his intern.
It's like, hey, go get me some coffee.
There was
You're
something
like,
really fun about that.
Did he ask you today to get him some earlier?
No, he asked me for donuts. But no, it's still the most fun I ever had in comic books. Like being part of that group and just like you're literally not doing it for money at all. You're doing it just because of fun and just because of how much you love comic books, and then you see the result at the end of the day, and it's just like it's so great. But now like you get caught up in the politics of it a little bit, and like yeah.
Put the FU in fun. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, and it literally does become work. And now my schedule is completely different because I got 2 kids and my partner's in school, so I wake up with my kids, and that's my they're my passion now. Like I like doing this. I like JonBoy, but I would run back home if I could. You know what I mean? Because
Family, man.
yeah,
It's probably your
yeah.
greatest creation.
And honestly, like I don't look forward to these. I have fun when I'm here, but when I'm at home, I don't look forward to these because I have to be away from home. It's like a drug. It's like when I'm not fucking name drop. So like Mark had a kid. Mark has a kid, and
Sylvester does?
no. Sorry, Mark Brooks.
Oh, yeah, Jack.
I asked him a while ago, like, what's so great about having kids, man? And he described like the love and devotion and just like how much it means to him. And I was like, yep, that sounds like a drug problem, man. That sounds like an addiction to hard drugs, man. I don't want any part of that. But to be honest, like having kids is like, it is like that. It is exactly like that. Except the high never goes away. It just actually gets better,
They're like
Y'all should get into drugs, is what I'm saying.
Drugs are cheaper.
I got kids.
Yeah, but it's great. But I still say that there's no, if you don't want kids, don't fucking have kids. There's no reason to have kids that isn't completely selfish and self-centered. I still stand by that because it is like the worst thing that you can possibly do to the environment. And the only reason that you're doing it is because you're saying, I want more of me out there in the world. But I'm fucking awesome. And my kids are awesome.
JonBoy, how about you with that studio setting? I know it was a different.
I
industry.
always wanted to join a studio as far as comics, because the thing about it is I don't know if you guys read at all. You know who Malcolm Gladwell is. He has the it's this 1,000-hour or 10,000-hour rule to create mastery. So in order to create mastery, you have to do something for at least 10,000 hours to get some handle on what you're doing. And I knew, like, as someone starting out, like, it's so important to try to be around other people who are doing the same things you are, because, like, for me, I was just working in a box, really, by myself, trying to do comics and trying to break in and trying to make it, whereas Like I met Mike. We're standing in lines in San Diego trying to break in.
Yeah, we came up together.
Yeah. But the thing about it is the difference was those like you got in at Top Cow and you had a force multiplier where you had this intense peer pressure to succeed and to draw. And like I had a regular job and did all this stuff, but your whole thing was like 24/7.
Yeah,
comic books for
it's an absolute advantage.
and
that I have.
yeah, you came out like freaking like a rocket strapped to your back. That's what I'm saying. It's just like the type of art and what you became.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And
Like-
it doesn't exist anymore. That's
No, that
kind of
doesn't.
the
No one
shame.
well, the costs and like employees. And
Right.
No one wants to mess with that noise. But
I love how different our direction is. Like this is what I've done, and that's it. Like
That's
he's
all right.
got the he does the thing where so I teach figure drawing in
you're like,
college.
let me, I'll take your class.
No. What I tell people is that you start with like an out of focus version of it, but it's still accurate, and then you just build the detail on top of it. But I'm like the opposite when in practice because I just do detail after that.
That's the thing though, is like when you teach, it's a different, you're flexing a different type of muscle set and you're
Yeah.
doing, it's kind of like you're creating different shorthands for yourself too. It's like, okay, again, it's a 10,000 hour rule. It's like, well, I've done this many times, I kind of know what, you know. But I mean, I worked at games, I was at a company called Riot Games working on this thing called League of Legends. And it was a studio environment there, and it was great. I loved it. Everyone was just all about the art and helping each other out and succeeding and things like that. I learned a lot about design and concept principles because that's all we did all the time was design, concept principles, like designing for games, things like that. It creates a different type of mentality, a different type of thinking. And that's where that mastery comes in, where if you're just doing it over and over and over and over and over again, and you're like, oh, okay. Like a lot of like when you're working in design or game design or whatever, most of your time first before you even start is more about like your thought process, what goes into the design, what you're going to do for the design. It's all these other things that kind of move into play, you know. Because if you don't have your thought process right as far as what you're designing and what you're creating, you just kind of like, you just don't start drawing, you know, like, okay, well, create a narrative around what you're doing. Okay, well, is this going to be a female character? Okay, what type of shape language? Are we going to make it more like a weightlifter thing, or is it going to be a sexy lady? What are we going to do as far as phenotype, body type? And then how does that body type read in game? Because it's a 3 1/4 down if you guys play League of Legends. So how is that going to read? So okay, what are we going to do to kind of change up her read in the game? So you kind of can track her during a melee fight. It's all this stuff, you know. It's when you're designing, it's a little different type of thing, but you're considering like designing for your medium. So everything's always different. So, which is nice. I mean, because in games, you know, you don't want to. In games, it's kind of like a trope now. It's like, oh, sexy female character again. Like, oh, big surprise, right? But you know, I think it's important to try to diversify body types. People like incorporating creatures and things like that. Kind of change it up, man, because it does change up the gameplay a little bit. Kind of like, you know, seeing the same thing from the same games all the time. It kind of gets repetitive. You know, it's like, okay, well, nice to see something different. You know, hey, just saying. You know?
You talked a little bit about imposter syndrome, and
Yeah.
you know, you're talking now about putting the hours in. For either of you, was there like a breakthrough moment in your work that you can look back on and go, that's the moment when my art started to become the way I wanted to look in my head? You felt like you had some.
I've
you started to really
always
have some
thought
mastery.
that I'm awesome. No, it never. Like even like this right here, like I have no idea really how it's gonna end up looking. I think what happens is that can you tell what's going on?
Yeah, I can
As
tell.
well, right?
Yeah, that's good.
So, but the thing is, like, you know, I'm just making it up freehand. With a bubble
fine.
pen. And yeah, and the thing is that, like, I don't really know what it's gonna look like. Like from here down, I don't know what it looks like yet. You know. But the thing is, you just keep on going, and I think there's a trust that you have that you could like I think there's a disconnect between what you can do and what you think looks good, you know, and it's trying to close that, you know. And like we can look at a piece of work and be like, oh, that's really really good, and then look at maybe one that's not as good and be like, okay, there's a gap there and we can identify it, but we might not even be able to reproduce the one that we don't think is as good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we don't have the skills to do that. But once you have that, and then you just develop the skills towards that, and you trust that eye to be able to, you know, identify what looks good and just try to like steer your stuff in that direction. Like at the end of the day, like I can look at what's finished and just be like, all right, that's a piece of shit, and I can either fix it or start again, right? So I think once you have that, you're gonna be all right. Yes. It's when you look at your thing and just be like, that's fucking awesome, and it's actually a piece of crap and you don't know it. That's
Come back to it 24 hours later.
Yeah, exactly. But that's when you're running into problems. When you can look at your stuff objectively, and even worse, even after 24 hours, you just look at it and go, wow. Another great one, Mike. You're the best. And that's when you realize, or that's when you never realize, but everyone else knows that you suck. Anyway. Wait.
So-
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
So just following up to that then, you don't know what this is, you don't have an image in your head and you're reproducing it, you're just organically
I think he's
going
just sketching
together.
for fun, yeah.
Yeah, I'm scared. Yeah, it's like honestly, like I don't know if this mountain is gonna be open.
Oh, that's so cool.
We'll find out.
Because I'm talking and I can't talk and draw at the same time. It literally is the chewing bubblegum.
Yeah.
That's why like I didn't start for a long time because I was bullshitting with you guys. Anyway, did you have like how do you?
I think the most important thing with art is you'll have all kinds of types. I think for me it's more about running my own race, because comparison will destroy you in this industry if you let it. And we're all at a different art level, and I think sometimes when we're like drinking our own Kool-Aid and dumbing Gatorade, we're like, I did it, so awesome. I think that it marks something where you hit something in your own mind where you hit a certain level that you're pretty happy with. I think the thing about growth is that, you know, you look at it 24 hours later, and for me, I always see the mistakes. And I'm just like, oh, I came close to what's in my head. It just didn't really quite measure up. Like,
Yeah.
But that's the unique thing about it is like, you always want to try to push yourself and be inspired and do well, because like as an artist, for me, it's important to evolve your skill set and what you're doing, because you don't want to be the same artist doing the exact same artwork 10 years later.
Yeah, and to be honest, like
It's a little like, yeah, there's no growth. You're just like, well, like, did I peak in the 90s or did I peak here? And, you know, it's a slippery slope. You never want to.
can I be honest?
Yeah.
I have Oscar.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You have a white? I feel like I'm gonna ruin it.
Am I helping? Oh,
No.
you're gonna ruin it?
No. Like sometimes it's shit paper here, but
Oh yeah.
like will like poison your pasta kind of deal. But
Go.
we could try it. I've got extras at the table, so if I ruin it,
You know, it's funny that you say that, and because like John said, we came up together. We were looking for jobs at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
We were doing the same lines, and it's just funny that like we took completely divergent paths. I've known him my entire career, and
Yeah. Next time I saw him at a show, he was like sitting behind me, well, like, dude, what the hell? Like, you made it. He's like,
yeah, seriously, it literally is like oh my god, what the hell?
Yeah.
But
I
it was
was stoked
funny.
for you, man.
Like I listened to a podcast that you were doing.
Yeah.
By accident.
Oh no, it's
No, I'm just kidding. But I listened to a podcast and like I heard of his journey to now, and I was like, wow, like this guy I see every year, like he's just a really interesting career. And if you look at his work, like it is funny in that John is like, you know, one of the guys I've known for the longest time. And I know him as a person.
Yeah.
And I don't like him as a person.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
But then I look at his
problem. I know.
But then I look at his work, and it's like, holy shit! Like objectively, this is like so cool. It's like cool, you know? This is so cool.
It's like he's come a long way.
No. Okay, fuck it. All right. Look, what I mean is that like, look, there is work that is, and this is like something I'm afraid of for myself. Is like, there's work that might be technically good, but it's not fucking cool. You know what I mean? It's just someone standing there. And this is what I say all the time about like these fine artists. I went to painting school when I was like 36, and I learned how to paint. If you want to look at one of my paintings, it's downstairs in Honest Alley. Anyway.
For sale.
No, it's not. I don't sell my own paintings because I don't put anything. Yeah.
Oh.
But
I like money. I don't know.
it is. You know, you see a lot of these portrait painters and stuff, right? And you know, they get a model and the stuff is amazing and the way they play with light and all that shit, and then they sell it for like, you know, 10 grand and it doesn't sell. And the problem is that, oh, but it looks just like them, right? But the problem is, who the fuck wants a painting of a complete stranger on their wall in their house? You know what I mean? For nothing, let alone for like 10 grand. You know what I mean? And that's something that I'm afraid of for my own stuff, is that, it might be technically good, but is it cool? The thing about John's stuff is not only is it technically cool, technically proficient, technically correct, it's also got that added factor of being really cool, you know? And so it's one of those things that, like, I just know John is, you know, John, but then I look at his, get the fuck out of here. Then I look at, like, some of his covers, like the Invincible cover. I bought that shit as a fan.
Oh, I mean, just give it to buy it. I'll give it to you.
I want it to be 9/8 so I can see that shit. But anyways, I'm a fucking fanboy too. I'm a fanboy too. I will get signatures from people and I won't flip it, but like they're like, do you want me to make it out to you? No, because I want to see it. Yeah, like I bought his shit. And I was like, okay, objectively, I don't care if I can get it for free from him if I just ask him.
I'll just give it
That's
to you, man.
fucking awesome, and I'm not gonna tell him I want to sign it. Anyway,
him first real quick.
yeah.
So, as an artist for comic books and stuff, like, is it, whenever, like, you're getting paid, is it more like a payout or a royalty? Or is it both?
It's asking about how comic artists get paid. If it's they're paid for the work, if they get royalties on the work. That's the question.
Are you aspiring to be a comic book?
I mean, so, like, my whole family's good at art, and I'm just kind of, like, behind everyone, so I'm trying to, you know, get better at drawing and stuff. And if I was to get into drawing and get into an industry like that, I would definitely want to do something like comics or something like that.
Well, I would say, you want to take this or you?
No, I'm gonna be. It's that thing where there's only 8 people here. I'm gonna be fucking brutally honest, man. Yeah,
I think honestly, dude, like starting out, it's really important not to compare yourself to where everyone else is at in the journey, because everyone else has different opportunities. We just talked about it, like where it's like you get this opportunity, and like Mike got this great opportunity, make the most of it. The thing about art is, let's equate it to sports, right? Again, it's treat art like a sport. So if you want to get good at art, and we get this all the time where people are trying to break in, they show me samples. My first question is, well, how often do you draw? And the response I usually get is like, oh, you know, like once a month. And I'm just like, look, man, like, treat art like a sport. If you want to become a professional basketball player, football player, NFL player, you're training every day, all day. You're training, like, training is life. That is your primary job. Like, in the morning, you're training, you go to school, come home, train again. You know, that's what it takes. That's the level of commitment, because you have to build yourself up a skill set. It's that 10,000 hour rule for mastery. You have to build up to a place where you know things and you have your style figured out, you have a good foundation for your work. And sometimes it takes more than 10,000 hours. Like for me, it takes double the time, you know? Because like when you're by yourself and doing it, there's no one to show you the way, and you kind of have to figure it out. But you know, you want to find mentors, you want to mirror behavior as far as successes. You want to get feedback. As an artist, getting feedback is probably the most crucial thing as far as honest feedback about where you're at, how you're progressing. And you want to find people who are doing similar things that you're doing, and you want to create a support system for yourself. Because I'm going to tell you, like, there's a lot of people in this world, when they ask you what your dream is and what you want to do with your life, and they're going to sit there and laugh at you. And you know, I call those guys dream killers. The thing about it is, people like that in your life you don't need. If you're serious about something and you want it hard enough and bad enough, work for it, and it's going to happen for you. And you got to surround yourself with people who will cheer you on and push you to do better and challenge you and support you. Because if not, man, you know, the world will kick you in the nuts and stomp on your face after you fall. And you can stay there or you can get up. And the thing about it is, the only thing that matters in this industry as far as comics is one, consistency, but also two is discipline. You can have all the talent in the world, but if you're not disciplined enough to sit down and do the work, put the hours in to get it done, you're not going to go far. I don't care how talented you are. You're not going to get a lot of work. You're not going to get anything done. You have to have focus. You have to stay laser focused. I'm not talking about motivation. Motivation comes and goes. Discipline is like those days when you want to go to the gym and you feel like shit, and you're like, I'm not going to go to the gym today. No, it's like, no, I need to get my ass to the gym. I need to work out because I know it's good for me. The art is the same way. These are the days you don't want to do it, you do it. You treat it like a sport or a second job or your first job. Because the thing is, if you understand what you want to do in this life, that is a huge gift. If you're in school and you're in high school and you're like, you know what, I want to be an artist, that's it, that's all I care about. Then you know what, like, you don't have to work that hard in English. Like, hey, great, if you can get an A and it doesn't hurt you to do it, then do it. But that's not your focus. Your focus is art. So try to take classes that focus on art and build your skill set. Because like math, I mean, yeah, you need to know 2 + 2 is 4 and all this stuff, but like, don't, look, if our past presidents have all been C and D students, dude, there's hope for everybody. You know what I mean? Because in the end, it's really about your drive and determination and your discipline. That's what gets you through the door, and that's what gets the work done. That's it. It doesn't matter if you're A, B, C, D student. I think if the world is at risk, you probably don't want that guy who got a D in astrophysics. You probably want the guy who's like probably A+ student and knows his shit, right? But I think everything else, you kind of know where your time goes. Because look, man, the thing that we all have in common is we all have 24 hours in the day. And what a professional does in his 24 hours a day to get to where he needs to be, and then someone trying to break in to get to where they want to be, should be very similar, because you want to get your foot in the door. And the thing is, your competition is not the other guy trying to break in. Your competition is other professionals. And you got to try to work as hard as you can to get your work to a professional level so you can kind of be in the same stratosphere. And then from there, you'll have victories. But the thing is, you got to keep going. Like, it's great to like celebrate, like, hey, I did it, I'm awesome. But at some point, you can't drink your own Kool-Aid, man. Because we all have friends who, like, they got a gig and it became a movie, and they got to their head and they totally turned into douchebags. And then you're just like, oh man, I can't even talk to that guy. It's just like, all right, everything's like, whatever. And you're like, but then you see him a couple of years later, they come back, oh man, I'm sorry, dude, I was such a dude. Or like, yeah, man, like, yeah, that's cool. Like, we didn't want to say anything, but like, we love you, man. But we just like, dude, you were a pill, man. Like, no one liked being around you because you're like, yeah, I'm doing this. It's so great. Life is awesome. You want to like be braggadocious. Be ambitious, man. Like, yeah, we all have victories. It's like, one minute you're on top, the next minute you're under the waves. It's more about your consistency as a person. And having integrity in the industry is also a big deal too, because the whole AI thing is a thing now. Sadly, I think there are plenty of shortcuts in life, and as artists, we've always tried to find ways to make our lives a lot easier and have force multipliers. But I would have to tell you, like, to do what is hard and to make that your focus and do something great with it. If you do what is hard, eventually your life will be easy. But if you do what's easy, I'm gonna tell you, your life is gonna be really hard. Because sooner or later, you still have to produce, and you still have to do something. You can't do that on your own. You're done. It's it. So don't. I guess what I'm trying to tell you is, I don't want to preach to you. I feel like I am, but what I'm trying to tell you is, like, just like, you can do this. Art is attainable. You can do it. If I can do it, and it took me like freaking years to break in. Like, I broke into like my late 20s, man. Like, that's like old. I got friends who are like 16 who are like freaking amazing, right? The tools they have are a lot better now, and there's more assets out there that you can use to learn. But I mean, back then we stand in these 6-hour lines, man, and get torn apart for 5 minutes. And come back out and say, okay, I'm gonna try to do it again. And nowadays it's like, comics are decentralized. You can put work out there in the world and do it consistently, and people will find you. It's a little different, but like, art is attainable. You can do it. And if there's people that's telling you no, even if it's family, just cut them out of your lives if you can, man, and just and go become that thing you wanted to become. And then maybe when you become that thing, you come back. Use it as fuel to prove them wrong. And then you can come back, and then they're like, oh man, oh wow, you really did it. Like, I didn't think you could, and you did. It's like, you gotta run your own race, but it is attainable as long as you're willing to put in the work for it. So, I don't know if you feel the same way, Mike, or not. I'll do that.
I disagree completely.
Yeah. So.
100%. No, that's right. But in regards to your question about like how do you get paid?
Oh, okay, sorry.
Like when I was like doing backgrounds, like I literally was just getting paid under the table. Like just like
Mark's gonna run here and say, you can't tell anyone else.
It was pretty good. But I remember when I was starting out, my dream was to just make enough to live and just do background for my career, whatever. To be honest, there's a lot of stuff in your line of questions. How old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm 18. I'm gonna turn 19 in September.
Are you going to college?
Yeah.
Where are you going?
So I'm from Oklahoma. It's a school in Northwestern Oklahoma State.
Yeah. Okay. All right. It's a 4-year program.
Yeah.
Okay. First of all, the fact that your family is into art, I would say should have no bearing into what you want to do. I got into comics because I love comic books. I would have been perfectly happy to have a background. I would have been perfectly happy stacking boxes, as a marketing rep or whatever. I just love comic books. You have to have that, first of all. If you just want to do illustrations and do covers or something like that, you could do that. But you have to be really, really good, and now you have AI to fight against, okay? But the thing that AI can't really do right now is tell a story. And we'll
It can
see
only
if we're
scrape
good.
though too.
Yeah, it can only scrape too.
It doesn't innovate at all.
Yeah, that's the problem with AI is that it can only go so far as how far we've come as a collective. If you're able to do something that no one's ever seen before, which is an impossible task, but that should be our goal, I guess. Then we'll always be a little bit ahead of AI, I guess. But whatever, fuck it. The question is how do you get paid? And the fucking truth is, it shouldn't matter to you at this point, man. I'm sorry if that's what you're caring about right now. I understand the practicality of it, right? And I'm also the first person to say, don't ever fucking work for free. Okay? If someone says if you're good at it, and someone says oh, you get exposure, fuck that, man.
Oh.
You get fucking paid, right? Get paid.
That's always the
right?
exposure. Yeah, you get exposure. It's just
Yeah. But
great.
get paid, right? But at the same time, the money. I haven't gotten a raise. I can fucking speak for you. I don't know how much he gets paid, but I know he hasn't gotten a raise in 20 years.
I actually got a page decrease.
Right.
So, yeah.
The money is not good. And the thing is that industry, and I mean, we're fucking seeing it with the WGA strike right now. Industries don't give a shit about artists. All right? We make our fucking money the way we make our money. And we make our money the way we want to make it. We try to make our money. Someone's gonna give us a page rate, and it's not very good, fucking ask for ownership of the property that you're working on. You know what I'm saying? It's a risk that you're putting on yourself, and you're taking a chance on yourself and saying, I'm gonna draw this shit so fucking good that it's gonna become something really big, but because I'm gonna own half of it, I'm gonna take that money, right? Or you get the page rate and get that money up front, okay? But the thing is, it's case by case, and honestly, I'm working on books where on paper I get royalties, but I'm never fucking gonna get those royalties because the language is shit in the contract.
Hollywood accounting.
Yeah. All right. So they say stuff yeah, you get money off property, off profit, but the accounting can make it so that no profit shows up on paper, right? Do it because you fucking love it, all right? Do it because you fucking love it and you want to tell a story. I'm so sorry, kids. I'm so sorry.
It's not a bitch, just keep it.
Okay, yeah. But I'm passionate about this. And it's because there's so many forces that try to fucking tell us that we're not necessarily going to get paid. AI is fucking free, right? And we're being told that we are competing against AI and fucking losing, right? So if you don't love it, if you're not ready for that fucking fight, on top of what John said, sorry, JonBoy said, I don't know if it's something that you should do. I'm not trying to discourage you, by the way, but make sure you go into it full on with the expectations. Also knowing that you have no fucking idea what to expect too, because the landscape is constantly changing.
Yeah, it moves very fast.
Yeah. But at the same time, if you fucking love it, do it, man. And there's so many resources out there. Artists are more than happy to help. We love running our fucking mouths, you know? And so we will talk your fucking ear off about how you can get a career in this shit, right? Yeah, and how you
We're right up against time. I want to take one more question from the front row
Wait,
here.
what time is
It's 12:15 right now. So I'll take one more question while the tickets are coming up. One more quick one.
Alright, so you know, we're talking about appreciating your own work and everything like that, but then also about being bossed around. I think, has there ever been a time that you've been given feedback and you push back on it because you're like, no, this is how it should be? And
Well, like in comics nowadays, like comics are decentralized, one. So if you don't like how you're being handled by editorial, because editorial, it's different now. They're more like brand managers. So when you're working on Spider-Man, you're really working on a bag of burritos. And they're telling you,
Bro, that's not even funny, man.
the story is locked in. Sometimes they don't want your input on story or plot. Then usually whatever is approved as far as storyline, you kind of want to stick with that. There's a little wiggle room if you want to change up the angles a little bit. As long, the thing about it is the rule is as long as it looks good. But you know, you're working on these big things now that Spider-Man itself is its brand on its own, and you're just some nameless guy working on this thing. Like it's different, you know. But you know, the thing about with comics being decentralized is, the main thing is just do good work. If you're doing great work, people will find you, right? And if you want to do your own comics, dude, you can kickstart your own comics, create your own fan base, do all this stuff. Anything's attainable, but I think one is you have to be good, you have to do good work, and two is you got to hustle, and it's really about your brand in the end. Because if you look at, and when I say hustling, it looks good. What good looks like is subjective, because like you take a show like Rick and Morty, where it's written really well, the animation is not necessarily best, and it's not the best drawn. It's kind of derpy, but the narrative fits the art, so you can create a fan base out of that. The thing is, if you're planning to create an art, you got to really figure out what your life plan is as far as what you want to do. Do you want to be a cover artist? Do you want to be a comic artist? Because it's great to have the goal of like, I want to work on Spider-Man or Batman, but I'm telling you, when you get there and you have that opportunity, it's not exactly what you think it is. It's cool, don't get me wrong, you have art you can sell and everything like that, but you know, you have to become not just an artist, but a creator. You have to create enough work for yourself and improve a track record of sales to be able to go in and say, well, I want to do my Batman run, and this is the effect change I want to have on Batman to change this character.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It's 100% monkey's paw. Like what I said about, like, you want to draw Wolverine? Yeah, but it's the girl version, and she's actually. It's like nothing, like cemented that idea. Like, you know, did y'all read Batman Damned, the first book, right? You know how Batwang?
Yeah.
I'm talking about, right? Like that, right off the bat, opened my mind, right? Yeah.
Why did he do that? Like,
but it opened my mind. Like, imagine, like, you're gonna show Bruce Wayne's penis in blood, right? Like, that opens up so many things. Like, you can actually tell, like, I know, yeah, shut up, you guys. But like, it does open the thing up. Like, we can tell adult stories, like, how did Killer Croc grow up? How did Poison Ivy become the way she? And you can have like this adult bend to it. You know what I mean? But I look over at my fucking 3-year-old and he's wearing Batman underwear. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh shit. Warner Brothers Discovery has to marry all that stuff and take that stuff into account. And that's why they had a problem with Batwing. You can't do that.
It caused a lot of problems.
Why?
It was not worth the squeeze.
Because we need to be able to sell that character and put it on a fucking 3-year-old underwear, right? That's the Pandora's box. That's the monkey's paw. You know, you can't just go like, oh, I got this amazing idea for Spider-Man. Yeah, well, can we make it fit with Spidey and friends? You know what I mean? So that's kind of like, you know, when people aspire to do like, I've got this perfect Spider-Man story, it's like, dude, it's like, you know, who was it, Dustin Nguyen?
Yeah.
Like, he got his dream, lifelong dream to draw Batman. But when he finally got Batman, it was actually Dick Grayson as Batman.
Yeah, he's like,
So it's like total monkey's paw. It's like,
he's like, who cares?
exactly. In his brain, he's like, this is Bruce Wayne, fucking I'm drawing.
Yeah, in his mind, right?
All right. I love you guys, but I
Oh,
gotta.
okay. We gotta wrap this show up.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. So this is for JonBoy's piece, number 6988126. 8126. Is that yours? Yeah. Come on up.
You're the winner. All right. Here you go.
Thank you.
It's a crappy Ghost Rider with wearing a
That is a cool.
Dark Phoenix. I like blanks. I want blanks. Oh, Pokemon. Oh.
Did you get a ticket?
Yeah. You know, honor
You don't wanna
system.
win, Mike's?
I trust her.
All right.
No, that's okay.
All right, let's see here. It's for Mike's piece. You guys kind of have a single lower body yet. Hold on.
Oh, dude, it's awesome.
Yeah, I love that.
It's Elseworlds. What if Ash
Final four digits, 8141. 8141.
did they leave?
They leave.
Oh. All right, we'll do it again. Do it again.
8141. No. Going once. Going twice. All right.
Wow. That guy's like, I never win anything. I'm leaving.
Let's try this again. Last four digits, 8153. 8153.
Hey.
All right. And you guys are at your tables the rest of the day?
Yeah, I'm at P42. You're in Scott's Collectibles.
Yep.
Which table?
I don't know there.
He's over there. Big, massive on the end cap there. So.
All right, yeah, give a round of applause to these guys.
Yeah, are you doing Denver?
Oh no, just when you pass your Texas.
Oh, I love Texas.